Hello and welcome to ET Now Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to startups, technology and entrepreneurship. I'm Chandra Shrikant coming to you live from India's startup capital, Bengaluru. The big story that we broke on the channel yesterday is, of course, the Flipkart Snapdeal term sheet coming through, and we are going to take that story forward today to analyze what this means for you and me as consumers. Does it mean this is the end of deep discounts as we've known it, as we've gotten used to it in the last few years, and what it overall means as far as consolidation is concerned in the e-commerce space? To get some of those answers there, we have three special guests joining us live on the show. TCM Sundaram, the founder and managing director at IDG Ventures, which has a lot of investments in the e-commerce space. We also have Pankaj Nayak, Director Investment Banking, who also co-heads digital and technology at Avendus Capital, an iBank that's done a lot of deals as far as the internet space is concerned. We have Arvind Singhal, the CMD of Technopack, and also Anil Kumar joining us on Skype. He is the founder of Redseer Consulting, which collates data from e-commerce companies on a very regular basis. I am going to kick it off with TCM Sundaram, the investor on this panel. Sir, you know, the term sheet has been signed. It's almost a done deal pending due diligence. What does this mean from a customer, consumer point of view? Will it bring the end of deep discounting as we know it?
So from whatever we have seen in the last 6 months, the era of deep discount may not be there. What we expect is that all the e-commerce players have understood that deep discounts will not work in a very highly price sensitive market. You have to necessarily, in the long term interest, build customer loyalty, and that has to come only beyond discounts. So this is our view, where all e-commerce companies are focused on growing business with a lot of customer loyalty, repeat behavior, getting a larger share of the wallet. And I think I would argue that the burn, with less number of competitors, the burn should go down. Having said that, there are two things. We have to see whether Amazon is going to say that, you know, at all cost we want to become number one and then continue to burn aggressively. And the second is, you know, how Alibaba will be playing this market, you know, through the Paytm mall. So these are two unknowns which will play out in the next 1 or 2 years' time.
Right. Mr. Sundaram, hold your thoughts there. I'm also going to get in Pankaj Nayak from Avendus, a firm that's been very active as far as stitching some of these deals in the consumer internet space is concerned. Pankaj, TCM Sundaram saying that the burn might come down, but you know, Alibaba is an unknown commodity and Amazon might still pump in a lot of capital in this market. What are your own thoughts on this?
Yeah, I largely agree with what TCM said, and what we've been seeing is in this space, you know, people are significantly reducing the discounts, especially if you look at some of the vertically focused e-commerce players, and people have realized that they need to, you know, over-index on customer experience and probably reduce the returns, etc. So, you know, you might not reduce the discount significantly, but, you know, you make sure that the returns are reduced so that the net revenue to the firm, you know, is improved. What you also have to see that the discounting is also used by some of the larger players as a tactic to threaten the smaller rival. And when somebody goes and raises, you know, such a large round or a capital that or takes out one of the competitors, it is like a nuclear deterrent policy, right? So then you basically send a message that I also have a capital, and, you know, just discounting is not going to eliminate me from the market, and which is a very important message, and that actually tends towards, you know, some discipline coming back to the market, because everybody or the 2 or 3 large players understand the other guy also has as much capital as I have. So just by discounting and burning money, I'm not going to win the war. Then the strategy is towards better consumer experience and, you know, a good service.
where I need to cut into it. Pankaj, hold your thoughts. I'm also going to get in Anil Kumar of Redseer, someone who tracks this data on a month-on-month basis. Anil, are we reading too much into this, merger? Does it mean anything at all? Considering Snapdeal has already effectively stopped discounting in the last few months, their sales on an everyday basis has also come down drastically. So fundamentally, is anything going to change at all as far as this market is concerned? Anil, can you hear me? Okay, I think we've lost the Skype guest, but Mr. Singhal, if you can take that question, Mr. Arvind Singhal, are we reading too much into this merger considering Snapdeal has already almost suspended discounts on its platform, sales have been coming down. Will this actually change anything in the market that we see today?
So to answer your question, in one way, I don't think it will make any difference at all. I think Snapdeal has actually been just also ran player now for the last so many months. Having said so, I believe personally that as far as marketplaces are concerned, it is a battle to be fought to win, and not basically saying let us carve the market between 2 or 3 players. So if my understanding of strategy is correct, we would actually see more aggressive discounting initiated by Amazon. They don't want Flipkart to actually remain, number one or a close number one, because that doesn't help Amazon in the long term. So I anticipate discounting from a consumer's point of view to actually increase, not decrease, because now there is a very clearly identified competitor. And like Mr. Sundaram said, Alibaba's cards are still not out in terms of how they want to play. And I would like to bring in a 4th possible player. I would not be surprised if Reliance Jio also starts to operate a consumer marketplace as far as retailing is concerned within the next 12 to 18 months time. So even if Snapdeal is out, there could be more than one player in the market. And I think that discounting will therefore not only just continue at the current levels, we might actually see even more of that in the next 12 months.
Right. Anil, if you can hear me now, would you want to weigh in on what Mr. Singhal is saying? He's saying discounting might actually increase and that Jio could also make an entry as far as this space is concerned. Would you agree with that assessment?
Sure. So no, I don't think there is any two-way about discounting being continuing, because in e-tailing or e-commerce in general in India, what we've seen is that the market is completely driven by the sales of various natures, whether it is flash sales, it is Big Billion Days or a Great Indian Festival. So those have been the big drivers of the GMV in Indian market. Even if you just add it up, the overall GMV for the Indian e-tailing space, a significant percentage of it comes through these sales. So we know that people buy online when there is a sale. So to your first question, I don't think there's even an iota of doubt about the fact that whether the discounting will continue or not. It will continue. Second, on whether there would be a new player or not, I feel that there will be a new player. I'm not really very bullish about Reliance Jio, though, because of multiple aspects, and I don't think we can go into detail of that right now. But in my mind, the third player who would definitely emerge in the market, and you will see a significant presence of it by October, would be Paytm Mall. They've been doing slow and steady progress on a lot of aspects, whether it is about the delivery, various operations-related metrics. So they're doing a lot of homework and background work about how do they want to make a big bang presence into the Indian market. So just to summarize, discounting would continue, and we will definitely see a third player coming in short term. And in my mind, that will be Paytm. The others would keep on coming in, but
Sure.
it will take time before they become significant.
Right. Mr. Sundaram, I want to toss it back to you. Again, do you believe that, discounting is inevitable? And do you also agree with Mr. Singhal that it's not just going to be these three, Alibaba, the unknown commodity, along with Flipkart and Amazon, but there is a possibility that Mukesh Ambani might also have some big bang plans on this front. Are you factoring in that aspect as well?
To answer the first question, see, these type of big billion discounts and other things are very tactical initiatives taken by all the players. But if you look at the overall discounting in the market, that has been coming down, right? If you look on days other than this. And I think the bigger challenge that the e-commerce players have is to how to increase the number of e-commerce buyers beyond the 50 or 70 million that are continuing to buy. So either they can play the game of I give more discount and cut each other's leg, or how do we actually increase the market size first. And so there will be tactical initiatives, but I don't see overall discounts on a complete period, maybe a month or in a year, discounts going up. Coming to the second question on whether Reliance will do this, they have initiated some view around this, like Arvind Singhal was mentioning, because their retail has grown quite well and has been profitable, and they are also looking at saying that how do I now continue to be relevant to the online customer. But whether they take a very aggressive price based approach or otherwise monetize in different ways is to be seen.
Right. Pankaj, you heard out these views, but another theory that people really believe is that Amazon will not at any cost want to lose in India, because they have lost in the other big growth market, which is China, to Alibaba. So it's not like they are going to sit back and let this Flipkart mega coalition win. Would you agree that Amazon will continue to invest heavily in this market, match Flipkart price for price? Because in the last few weeks, even though Snapdeal has sort of virtually suspended discounts on its platform, sales have been dwindling. You've seen Flipkart and Amazon go ahead and price iPhones very competitively on both platforms. So is that fight going to continue for some time to go?
Yeah, you raise a very good point, because for Amazon, India is a key market. So they will continue to be aggressive in this market. But at the same time, I completely agree with what TCM also says, right? The big billion days or, the discounting season are the tactical discounts. Even if you look at the normal retail market, 30% of the goods are on, 30% discount 30% of the time. So it's not that, retail doesn't offer discounts. So I'm saying that, the discounts have come down. But at the same time, they are not going to go away, and Amazon will continue to invest into the market. But so, Flipkart has a capital now, so it will continue to fight the battle. And I think it will take some time to, even eventually to figure out ultimately, is there going to be a one-player market? It's going to be a two-player market, or with Alibaba, Paytm, combination, it's going to be a three-player market. But I don't think that anybody is going to back out at this point of time. But discount is not the only weapon to fight this battle, is what we believe.
Right, right. We're coming to the end of the discussion, so I'm just, going to get your thoughts very quickly, all of you. I want to start with you, Anil. Considering all that we are seeing on, the term sheet front, an eventual merger consolidation, what will change from a consumer standpoint, say, from a 6-month view, in a 1-year view? Will quality of services go up? Will prices come down? Will the extent of discounting come down? One big factor you think will change from a customer standpoint in the next 6 to 8 months?
That's a tough question. So I think what has already happened is that in last year or so, Snapdeal has lost out a significant market share to most of the players already. And so the customer base which has been shopping with Snapdeal now is fairly very limited. So I mean, if you have to think of the monthly GMV which they've been churning around is about $45 million or so, right? So practically what they have been selling is just fairly very minimalistic. So the customer base is also very minimalistic, right? So in my mind, since the existing customer base of Snapdeal has been fairly limited, so those guys are not anyways going to get impacted much by this merger. And Flipkart definitely is going to continue their aggressive approach, and the discounting, as I said, is going to keep on going on for a long term. So, I mean, if I have to summarize, I don't see the end consumer is going to see a large impact of this merger, and it should be a business as usual for most of the customers.
Right. Mr. Singhal, you want to comment on what Anil was saying in terms of the impact as far as the end consumer is concerned?
See, so again, I would say the same thing, that Snapdeal's going out really is not really making any impact. However, what we might see in the next 6 months, I think, is a very interesting battle in the making, which is on the grocery front. Amazon has taken off the, has gotten off the mark much quicker. That is a much bigger market to address compared to consumer electronics or textiles and leather goods. And we will see from a consumer's point of view, a virtual supermarket coming to their homes, at least in the top 20, 30, 40 cities. And that is where I think the next price war, if I may say so, would probably emerge.
Right. Pankaj and TCM, I'm afraid we have the final few minutes of the show left. But from a 6-month, 8-month perspective, what do you see changing? I'm going to have Pankaj go first, and maybe have TCM have the last word on this.
I don't think that much will change in the next 6 to 8 months. I think both the companies actually will invest heavily in the supply chain with the new developments on GST. So those impacts will be seen after a couple of years. But I don't think that from consumers front, next 6 to 12 months, we're going to see a lot of changes.
Right. TCM, final word, not just on the 6 to 8 month perspective, but with this Flipkart Snapdeal, merger finally out of the way, will venture capitalists now at least start using some of the money that they've raised in the last year? Because the likes of you, Kalari, Sequoia, Axel, I mean, all of you are sitting on so much of gunpowder, so to speak, not investing, too busy, stuck with your portfolio companies. But now with at least this Flipkart Snapdeal merger out of the way, will we see more deals happening, more of that gunpowder getting used to actually generate deals in the market?
Yeah, so at least as someone who's been in the market, I can say that all funds have been investing. Obviously, the bar has gone up in terms of how which companies get funded, and that will continue to go up because the market is getting bigger and the competition is getting more intense. But I think deployment will continue to be in the same pace as or slightly better than last year. Sentiment definitely has turned a little positive, and later stage deals in fairly scaled companies are in various stages of progress, so that's good. Early stage has been happening in terms of Series A deals have been consistently happening. I think where there is a little bit of a challenge where we see some loosening can take place and will take places in Series B and C. Because the sentiment will start coming back, saying that a lot of people were not so much worried about whether Flipkart Snapdeal merger was taking place, but more about Flipkart getting funded and then getting a pricing on the business that they have built. That having happened, I think sentiment has turned positive.
Right. Thank you all so much, TCM, Pankaj, Anil, as well as Mr. Arvind Singhal. Thank you all so much for joining us. So I guess at least customers don't have to worry too much for now. The discounts will not go away completely. It might lessen to some extent. But remember, there are more players in the fray willing to really bet more for a bigger pie of the Indian market. So at least for now, customers don't have to worry. But on that note, we come to the end of the special edition of ET Now Startup Central. Thanks so much for watching.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/ETNow.